Hey, stock market sharks. Hey, YouTube investors. Hey, YouTube traders. Crypto fanatics. This is Steve again, your fellow stock market shark. And today I'm coming with some updates related to Palantir. Palantir has just published its quarterly earnings a few days ago, and we had some very significant price movement since then. Right after the earnings, right before the earnings, I made a quick update and I told you guys, I share you guys what can be expected on the stock market and in terms of the Palantir price movements, and everything played out as I told you. So yeah, I wanted to reflect on what I said then, and I wanted to see what can come next, how you should formulate your trading strategy for the upcoming trading session, what's the best approach, when to get in the markets. I would like to answer questions like that. So let's get started. But before doing so, guys, I'm asking you a huge favor again. So as usually, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel down below. Leave your comments, leave your feedback, support building this community behind the channel. So thanks for doing so in advance. And now it's time to start. And let's take a closer look at Palantir. So what you can see on the screen is the Palantir chart, stock chart. It's the midterm chart, and it's basically showing you the major trends in the stock price and some technical indicators. So this is what I want to start with. Let's take a look at what's been happening since the company released its earnings report. So as I said earlier, the report was not a negative surprise. So it came in line with the expectations in terms of the earnings per share, and in terms of the top line, the revenue. Basically, it was slightly beating the expectation, but this was not enough for the market. So the market expected more, and this was interpreted as a disappointment. So for such a young company as Palantir, the growth rates, the reported growth rates, have a very significant impact on the value of the company. So if anything comes below the expectations or doesn't produce a positive surprise, that can create massive disappointment on the market. And this is exactly what happened. So the expectations related to Palantir are huge. Basically. The company has a massive market capitalization, and the market participants expect some very, very, very impressive growth. 30%, 35%, 40% is just not enough for this stock, given the current valuations. It has to produce a positive surprise above what the street expects. So this has been proven a couple of times. So if the company is able to meet the expectation, still the market reacts with some kind of disappointment. So in order to keep up the momentum in the stock, in order to keep up the upward trend in the stock, what the market expects, and this is quite clear after a few quarters, what the market expects is that we see some very impressive growth rates with some very impressive margins and possibly about the expectations. So this hasn't happened this time, and the stock price started to move downwards since then. So as you can see, the stock has been moving on the midterm in an upward pointing trend channel. There were higher lows and higher highs. And when the company reported the earnings, the stock price was still staying closer to the bottom support line of the channel. And as I predicted, the disappointment following the earnings pushed the stock price below the lower support line of the channel. So basically, the stock price broke down the lower support line of the channel, and now it's moving outside of it. And eventually the price has turned exactly after touching the upper resistance line of a longer term trend. So as you can see, there's an upward pointing midterm trend, and there's also like a longer term downward trend. You can see the resistance line here. I'm just pointing at it. hopefully you guys can see it. So before falling, the stock has been touching the upper resistance line of the channel, and then it has turned, and now it's basically breaking down the lower support line of the midterm channel. So the main question for me is whether this was a false breakdown, or is it eventually a real breakdown? So the question in the upcoming days, and we have to take a closer look at it, is whether the stock price is going to return. So this was an attempt to break down the support line. It managed to do so, but only on the very, very short term, and the stock price is going to return back into the midterm upward pointing channel. Or is this like a real breakdown? And then in this case, we can expect a larger correction, and basically the stock price can move in line with the longer term downward trend channel. So that's what the next trading session needs to answer. Till that plays out, I would like to take a look at some other indicators as well to give you an insight and support my thoughts with alternative indicators on what can happen next. So as you see, the breakdown happened followed by larger volume. So the last trading sessions had volumes that were outliers. What you can see on the screen is a bunch of indicators. I would take a look at some of them. For instance, the RSI. The RSI indicator is around 35 at the moment, so it's very close to the lower range of the channel. And basically, this means that the stock is oversold at the moment, following the recent fallback. This indicator might tell us that the stock is going to be is going to bounce back in the upcoming trading session. It's oversold at the moment, so that could generate a buying pressure. So this can support the idea that the actual breakdown is just a false breakdown, and the stock is going to return into the upward midterm trend channel. Okay, then we see the 50 days and the 200 days moving average on the chart. The red and the blue lines. As you can see, the current stock price is below both the 50 days and both the 200 days moving averages. This can be interpreted as bearish. So that's also supporting the idea that the price can start moving in line with the longer term downward channel. And yeah, as you can see at the bottom, the MACD indicators, so a faster moving moving average and the slow moving average. So the faster one is just crossing the slower one, and that can be considered also a bearish sign. So it's not a definitive cross, but it's basically it's around there. So basically it can cross the lower moving average, and this can be interpreted as a bearish sign as well. So yes, so this is pretty much how the chart looks at the moment. I think the main question for the upcoming days is whether the breakdown is a false breakdown, or if it's really a continuation of the long-term downward trend. Many indicators support the idea that this is going to be a longer-term bearish movement, and we can expect here a larger price correction. The RSI indicates that the stock is already oversold, and eventually today's price movement, so the price is not moving significantly in either directions. So currently it's around 22.88 USDs. So it's plus 1.5%, but after losses like the ones yesterday, 7% losses, this is normal. Probably this is just a temporary buying pressure, and the stock is going to continue falling tomorrow. So yes, this is pretty much it, guys. So I think that for those of you who are considering to buy into Palantir, should wait a little bit more to see how this plays out, to wait for the upcoming few trading session and to check whether the price is entering back into the midterm upward channel, or if it's going to move in the longer term downward channel. So I would wait a couple of more trading session. For me, as someone who is basically trying to find a more conservative place, I would wait for a larger correction to enter Palantir. I tell you why, because I performed some fundamental valuation of the company, and basically my valuation tell me that the current price, the price around 23 USD, is not showing a huge discount. So it's kind of like fairly priced at the moment. Based on my calculations, for me to enter a stock, I would need something that is very heavily oversold, that it has a much larger discount compared to the fair price of the company, the calculated fair price of the company, and I don't see that. So some values around 20 would be more convincing to me, but that's just my subjective opinion. It's also likely it can happen that the price is going to return back into the midterm channel, and basically I think that the growth prospects of the company are very promising, and eventually the expectations or the estimates of the company for the fourth quarter were raised. So even if the third quarter was a minor disappointment in terms of the beats, or the miss of, the lack of beats on the main lines of the report, the expectation for the fourth quarter were raised, and I think that on the longer term, the company has some very nice prospects. So either larger correction would play out in the upcoming days, or the stock price is going to return in the midterm upward moving channel. I think that both of these scenarios are very likely, but I think that from a longer term of view, this doesn't make any difference, and the stock can be still a good play. So with that, I leave you guys, and thank you very much for looking at my video. I hope you found it useful. Please don't forget to share your comments below. Please don't forget to subscribe. This is very important. And yes, I'm coming back very soon with some important updates, stock coverage, and market information. So please bear with me. And until the next one, have a wonderful time. Take care and see you soon. Bye.